buddy? How's Germany treating you?
Fine. Thank you. How about yourself?
I'm all right, man. I'm in Southern California, man. I'm not too far from Corona, and
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk and stuff like that about maybe some Southern California BMX. But thank you very much, everybody, for stopping by. My name's Kevin Wilson. I'm the host of the BMX podcast. My co-host Danny has to work today, so I'm going to have to go solo. And I'm here with Rainer and from Germany. Now, Rainer has a pretty cool podcast, Riders Ready Podcast. Right, Rainer? You've been doing it for, what, 3-4 years now?
Well, it's actually Patrick who's the host. I'm just co-hosting every now and then.
Got it. Okay. So you're the same as Danny then or whatever. I'm going to turn your volume up just a little bit here.
Please do.
Nice, dude. So we have something that we know a couple of the same people. I've heard of some of the people that you know.
Yes.
Just for full disclosure, my brother lived in Austria for a while. He worked for Felt, for Mike, for many years. So
Sport Import.
I'm sorry?
Sport Import.
Sport Imports, yeah.
Yes, that's him.
Yeah.
Michael.
So my brother's been talking about Mike Mullen since he was like 35 years old, working for GT. So wow. I know a little bit about the whole situation, a little teeny weeny bit about the whole situation out there. But it turns out that I may be talking to someone that was very, very fast in Germany that may have some really cool stories. So, Rainer, I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Of course, anytime. My pleasure.
So I guess I'm 57. How old are you? Are you in the same age range?
57, right on the spot.
Nice, dude. So when did you start racing?
I started racing in late 81, but I didn't start competitive racing till early 1982.
Okay, cool. Well, if you don't mind, dude, just tell me, start out with your story. Tell me what you've been, how you got into it, your highlights, your lowlights, and we can talk about it. We can compare notes, bro.
Okay. Well, originally, I wanted to go race motocross. Okay. I hadn't even heard of BMX. I didn't even know how to spell BMX. That was 1978. And I just took my kid's bike, a 24-inch, by the way, and I wanted to ride motocross on my bicycle. So I did. I took off all unnecessary parts. I fabricated a number plate out of plywood. I put pads on, wrapped them with some duct tape. And there I was riding motocross on my bicycle. And then I think 79 or 80, I got wind of BMX. BMX was coming, and I'm like, dude, once this gets here, I'll be the first one to ride a BMX bicycle. So that's what happened. So I think late 1980 or early 1981, I got my first, department store BMX bike. That didn't last too long. I shredded that thing within a couple months to pieces. Everything fell apart. Everything broke. Piece of junk. So in late 1981, I got back then a Diamondback 2, very decent bicycle. In part, my grandma paid for it. In part. Paid for by my dad, and I had a paper route at the time, so we split up the cost, and there I had my first decent bike, and I went racing with that starting 1982.
A Diamondback 2. I'm not familiar with that. Was that like a Silver Streak or something, or a Formula
the predecessor of the Silver Streak? The Silver Streak didn't come out till late 82 or early 83, and the predecessor was called Diamondback 2. Basically the same bike, except it had Sugino 3-piece cranks, alloy bars, alloy seat post. Other than that, very similar bike, except mine was chrome with blue parts. The Silver Streak was always chrome with black pieces.
Always chrome with black. You're right. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I
agree with that. Yeah. Nice, man. Like I rode a Diamondback for a while. I really didn't like it. How did you like your Diamondback?
Well, it was an awesome bike, but I later found out it was way too little for me. I'm a fairly tall guy, 6'3", And at age 14, I think I was almost grown to that size. So the bike was way too small, way too short.
Yeah.
But I did make do with it during the first season of racing. So I think I did okay. And later on, I replaced the Diamondback eventually with a GT Long. It was called back then, GT Pro Long, frame and fork.
In 19, was that 80? Is that what you said? Is that when it came?
82.
Okay. Yeah. 80. They came out with the Pro. Yeah. So 82 would have been the Pro Long. Yeah.
Yeah. It said Pro Long. Yeah.
Was it hard getting BMX bikes into Germany? I mean, no, right? You guys were the civilized world. You guys had importers, right? It wasn't
we
hard.
had everything. We had everything you had.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Who was in 82 when you got your GT? Who were you looking up to? Who were you following? Who were you digging their riding style? Did you have someone that you liked more than someone else?
Well, all we had was the magazines, remember? Plus, we had some Action Now. We had BMX, Bicycle Motocross BMX Action. And we had a little German magazine, BMX Special. So who did I look up to? You mean like BMX pros, for instance?
Yeah, like my guys were like Jumpin' Jim Pratt, Trash Can Morgan, Toby Henderson.
Oh, yeah.
And that type of things. You know, I really wasn't – I didn't start racing until 83 when I was 16.
Okay.
So I rode since I was like 7 or 6.
Wow.
So my whole exposure to BMX was before racing. So that's why I got into like Pratt and Trash Can Morgan. And then I always liked when Toby did the Henderson, that type of thing. So I was just kind of curious, who you were digging at that time.
Well, I was more into racing before I got into like dirt jumping and freestyle stuff, which I did a little bit on the side. But I said, I would say racing wise, Dave Clinton came over at an early time. I think in 1980, he showed up in Holland and did a demo run, did some demo races and stuff. So I think he was involved with Diamondback first as a rider, then as a team manager. So he was a great guy. I would look up to. Stu, of course, So I'd say those two early riders were, where it was at. I'm
a closeted Dave Clinton fan, man. Like I feel like I've read his Wikipedia page 100 times, dude. Like,
awesome.
Just is insane, Yeah. And I saw him at Dirty Fest the first year, and his accomplishments, stuff like that, just phenomenal, dude. So that's a good guy to emulate.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, 100%. He's always been a great ambassador of the sport.
Yeah. And the first guy to do a tabletop, man, the first sponsored rider in BMX, crazy stuff, man. Nice, dude. So you're racing your GT. Did you like the GT? Obviously, you like the GT better than the Diamondback.
Well, I was way more comfortable on the GT than on the Diamondback because it just suited my size way better. So it wouldn't loop out like the Diamondback did. I had to get used to it a little bit, but eventually it just suited me way better.
Nice, dude. So let me ask you a question. Your gear out there, did you guys run your visors popped up all the way like we did, or did you run normal visors?
Well, that trend didn't start till like 83, 84. Before, everybody would run a short bubble visor so it wouldn't, block your vision. I think I was using a Haro bubble visor first, then a Moto Peak, and then Brian Gass. Remember, Brian Gass came out with a visor riser. So everybody had to have that. But that was I would say late 83, maybe even 1984.
Dude, we just did an episode a couple days ago where I totally shredded the bubble visor, dude. I think that's the ugliest visor ever made, dude. I would rather go without a visor, dude.
Oh, Bowling ball helmet.
I would rather say, you know what, keep the visor. I don't want the bubble visor.
I hear you. Yeah. Well, but that was the early days, bubble visor. That's early motocross.
Yeah. I'm an early motocross guy myself, so I can relate to that, dude. Nice, dude. So the you mentioned that you might have. Okay, so first off, let me ask. This is typically one of the first questions I ask people when they come on the show. I look back at myself where I say, were you a natural on the track, or once you got up? I mean, you rode before you raced, and then you started racing. Did that translate to your skills on the track, or did you have to start over again? Personally, I did all this BMX off the track, and then I got on the track. I thought I was good, and I got on the track. I was like, oh, whoa, man, this is a whole different world, bro.
Oh, okay.
And I was wondering, like, when you got on the track, did you already have the skills to compete, or did you have to start over from scratch and work your way up?
I did have the skills to compete, but at the time I started racing, they didn't have single age groups for each year. So they put two birth years together. So I was at a little disadvantage, but I still held my own. And I think the skills, yes, I did have the skills. I even remember at the first couple races, people didn't know how to speed jump. I did. And of course, you gain like an instant 3-4 foot on the track. And I remember at the first couple of races, people didn't know how to speed jump. So I had a small advantage, but eventually they caught on quickly, of course.
We're talking 83, 84? 82. Got it. So, wow, man, like when I didn't even think about speed jumping, dude. I was launching, man, like forget the speed jumping, man. I'm launching this thing, dude. So I kind of give you mad respect, dude, because I wasn't even thinking about speed jumping anything, man. Or
launching to the moon.
Yeah, dude. Nice, man. So what were some of the, I mean, were the tracks like all over Germany, or were they segmented into one particular? I mean, are you in the Munich area, or where are you at?
I'm in the southwest of Germany. Munich is about 4 hours away, but I did race in Munich a few times. They had a pretty good BMX scene out there in the early 80s, but we did race all over the country, and eventually ended up racing all over Europe, and then after that, all over the world, actually.
Wow, dude. And did you ever race Mexico?
No, but I raced Canada, which is kind of like the Mexico up north.
Oh, really? I only raced two nationals my whole life. One was in Southern California, one was in Mexico. So that's why I was wondering if you raced Mexico.
No, I did not, but I did race all over California, including Lake Elsinore, by the way.
Yes, the Lake Elsinore National in 82?
83, 84. Remember the over and under pass?
That was right before I started racing, because my friend had a team at our junior high school, and I wanted to race so bad, but my friend took a bunch of his other friends with him, and I missed out on the Lake Elsinore National. I ended up racing. I didn't end up not racing until late 83. But I wanted to go to that national really. So you went to the Lake Elsinore National.
Yes, it was called the ABA Summer Tour back then. It was on in 83 and 84, and I raced the entire ABA Summer Tour.
As a 14, 15X or what?
Actually, as a 15 and later as a 16 expert, yes.
So the goal, the big question is, how long did it take you to go expert, man? Do the classes translate to Germany, or
yes, they do.
Translate?
I never did race novice. I never did. No, never. I started racing as a 14 expert.
That's badass, dude. That's nice. You know, I started racing at 16, and I didn't have a class. So there was no other 16 beginners when I started racing. So I had to race 16 expert for like the first, 2 months I started racing. It made me faster. You probably agree. It makes you faster.
Oh yeah. Well, you gotta keep up, right?
getting smoked every weekend. It gets embarrassing, man. Like, oh man, I gotta do that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
How'd you do in Elsinore?
I won. I still got the plaques around. They didn't give out trophies. They gave out plaques.
You won 14X in Elsinore.
16.
I'm sorry, 16X.
16. Yes, I did.
So you would have had to have beat Bubba Hayes, or
I'm not sure if they all raced the ABA Summer Tour, but yeah, there were some familiar names that you know, they were up there. Yeah, Brian Gass was one of my best competitors. He was one of the toughest competitors. Yeah.
I interviewed Brian. He was one of the first guys I interviewed. Yeah.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Brian. Yeah, he's a great guy.
I was talking to Brian at a Dirty Fest. He stopped by the booth and
awesome.
We had a good conversation. I told Brian, actually, I said when I started my podcast, when I interviewed Brian, that's when my podcast went in the right direction, and that was a turning point. So I thanked him profusely for coming on the show. That was very cool.
Yeah, I think his dad. I bought some parts off of his dad. He would run a little trailer up at Orange YMCA, next to the Slurpee stand.
I heard his dad was a gangster, man. Like cool as hell. I've heard a lot of good stuff about his dad.
Oh yeah, awesome guy.
He invented the GT wings. Did you hear that story?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did.
Nice, man. So you were racing. Now, I've always wondered, because when you're from a different country and you're in the United States, you're on the gate, you're in practice. What kind of feedback do you get from the guys on the starting hill, in the pits? Are they embracing you at this particular point, or are you like persona non grata? People just ignoring you, especially if you're fast. I can imagine if you were slow, people might have thought, okay, hey, Rainer, how's it going, man? If you're fast, that might be a problem. What was your whole experience like?
I hear what you're saying. Well, back then they didn't know who I was, which was fine, you know, it was something I liked. They didn't know who I was until I smoked them. And then that announcer, I remember the announcer at Orange, they had a hard time pronouncing my last name. That was funny. Yeah.
I haven't even tried yet.
Then eventually he had to say it more often, so he made it. He did it.
Well, did you have a certain Southern California track that you like more than others?
Well, I can tell you, I raced Irvine, I raced Norco, I raced Corona, I raced San Pedro, Harbor Raceway, I raced Snipes, I raced, hold on, I'm forgetting something.
Did you go to Azusa?
Azusa, yes, I did. I raced
that was my
Simi
home
Valley. Simi Valley came at a later date. I raced, excuse me, I raced YMCA at Orange. I'm sure if I forgot one or another, but
did you
back in the day, back in the early 80s, what we would do was we raced Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and then Sunday morning, Sunday around noon, and Sunday night.
Maybe we racing. Did you race Azusa when you were 16X?
Yes, I did.
We could have raced each other, man. That was my home track. I was there every race day. I was there till I was almost 18. So
that's awesome.
We probably raced each other, or at least we might have been on the same gate together.
It's very possible. It's very possible. My dad, he collected some of the moto sheets, but I'm not sure where they are. I can look it up. I can look them up and see. Maybe they got your name on there. Who knows? It's very possible.
Did you race the NBL War of the Stars in '85 or whatever? You were in the States at that time, probably.
In '85, I raced the World Championships in Whistler, Canada. But
Oh, okay.
I did not race the NBL War of the Stars.
Okay.
I raced some of the bigger NBL races that were classified as international, like the Murray World Cup in 1983. I raced the Huffy International in 83. I raced the Grand Nationals in 84. Didn't do shit though. Yeah, and other than that, I raced the bigger IBMXF international races.
Well, dude, like, oh man, I just had a good question. Damn it, I forgot. So you're so
It'll
what
come
was
back to you.
so out of those, you didn't win? I mean, were you making mains in all these races, or you're winning the races? How'd you do?
I
You weren't Moto Phil. You were making mains.
on a national level, I'm a 3-time national champion in 20-inch and cruiser. I have, hold on. I was number 2 in the European Cup in cruiser, number 6 20-inch, and I got number 2 in the world in super class or elite cruiser in 1986.
Wow, dude! Congratulations.
Thank
About
you.
40 years too late. But that's pretty impressive, man.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
I raced one national. I got blown out at 16 beginner by a
Where
bunch
was
of
that? In California?
Yeah, and at the Burbank Jag World Championships in late '83.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And yeah, I got blown out by a bunch of sandbagging intermediates. I was a good beginner, man. I should have at least got out of my motos, dude.
Nice. Awesome. Great memories.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, dude. So, did the U.S. guys? I mean, obviously, I think I heard you guys talking about the U.S. U.S. riders used to come over to Germany and do things, do exhibitions, stuff like that. How did the U.S. guys stack up when they went over to visit you guys? I would assume that you guys really enjoyed spanking us, right?
Well, I remember they set up some invitational races where, like, say, a couple of factory teams came over from the US to race in Europe, promote product, promote the brand, do some demo races and stuff. But I'm telling you, these guys, they took their stuff seriously. It wasn't like, well, we'll do a demo race and just easily coast along. No, sir. They were going all out, and so were we. And I think those were some of the best races because it let the local guys or the German guys, some European guys, hang it all out against some of the better, some of the pros that came over. We had like the entire Hutch team came over in 1984. We had the entire GT team come over, I think, around the same time, and those made up some great races. Yeah.
Any good stories of battle?
Oh yeah, I got a story.
Tell me the stories, bro.
Yes. Well, 1984, middle of the summer, I think July, we were at a track called Leverkusen, and we had Rob Fade, Nelson Chanady, Tim Judge. I forgot who the other ones were. Anyway, myself, and we made it to the finals. And like those 4 names I mentioned, we were first row of battle, and then everybody else 10 feet behind another row. And we were going at it hard. And I think Nelson Chanady, he sometimes got a little squirrely. He was a fast rider, but got a little squirrely at times. And he takes out the entire first row of riders, So the second row, they just ride around us, and I think we just coast to the finish line. But we were going at it hard. Yeah, I remember that. And then a week later, there was another race, an invitational. I think Mike Miranda was there. Again, Rob Fade, Tim Judge, Tommy Brackens was there. And yeah, I managed to hold my own, and I think I finished second or third in that race.
When you're spanking all these Americans and you're touring, the U.S., who are you on a factory team? Are you on a German team? Are you on an American team? Who you're riding for? You got to be sponsored, right? You're not a privateer at this point.
I was a privateer for the first year, 1982, and then I landed a little sponsorship by Skyway through the distributor at the time. So they supported me with gear and bike, but no money involved, no fees, no travel expenses. But I was happy with the deal at the time. They gave me free stuff. That's all I wanted. And I rode for Skyway a year, 1983 till early 1984. And then another distributor, Michael Mullman, by the way, Sport Import, he asked me to ride for the new brand he had picked up, Patterson Racing. So I said, yeah, let's go. Time to get rid of those heavy, tough wheels.
That's been a theme throughout our podcast, tough wheels versus regular wheels. And I'm the one guy that on the podcast that's never rode tough wheels, that refused to ride tough wheels. So I'm always the odd man out when it comes to tough wheels. Everybody else is like, "Oh, tough wheels aren't that bad." And I was like, "No, I can't do it, man."
You'll probably laugh at me, but I still ride tough wheels today on my Skyway. I think they're cool. They're fine. They do flex a little. Yes, they are heavier. They don't run as straight as a laced wheel does. But back when I rode them, I was able to make up for all that. So not a problem. Anyway, starting '84, I started racing for Patterson, and I think I had another guy on the team, Jorn Glofke from Berlin. So we were a two-man team for Patterson, and that's when the ball really got rolling.
When the ball got what? Old?
When things really got rolling.
Oh, rolling. Okay. Yeah, I can only imagine, dude. So what types of bikes did Mike import besides Patterson? GT, obviously.
Yes, I think at the time, Michael was the distributor for Hutch, GT, Patterson, and later on, Dyno, Robinson, all the GT spin-offs, Powerlight.
Wow, dude, yeah. That was my brother was the product manager for Powerlight, Dyno, Robinson, and Auburn.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. So I used to live vicariously through in like the late. This is in the 90s, right? It was like 90, 97, 96, where I used to live vicariously through my brother. He'd be telling me stories about like designing the cockpit and the pea shooter and all these other different things, dude. So I was like, man, I wish I could. I wish I was in the industry. But that's very cool, dude.
Okay.
So did you represent Patterson? You were winning. They were happy with what you were doing. Obviously, you're winning world titles.
Well, I got second at the world. So
okay, all right. Well,
I got close.
Everybody has an off day.
Yeah, but I should mention that in 1982 we started Rainer's Bike Shop. It's still in existence today. All BMX. My dad ran it throughout most of the time, but he passed in 2018. So I stepped in, and I'm keeping it alive. But what we did was I raced. I won on Sunday, and we sold on Monday. And it really worked out well. So whatever I promoted, whatever I raced on Sundays, we sold on Mondays, and it worked out awesome. Remember back we're talking early to mid 80s, and BMX was booming. It was it was the bomb. We were selling bikes left and right, parts out the window. It was awesome. A great time to be had, although we only did the bike shop on the side as a side hustle. It was an awesome business to be in. It got us around the world. It formed me as a human as well. I can honestly say that.
Yeah, I own a bike shop too, so I can relate to that. And you already had a pre-arranged distributor with Mike, so you could just step in and say, Mike, sell me these bikes, right?
Yes, exactly. We would. Mike was great to work with. I haven't spoken to him in a long time, but he never forgot his roots. We just had a long conversation about Michael a few days ago with his main employee who ran the business, and we all have great memories of that time. Awesome memories. Yeah.
That's totally cool, man. So did you always stay on the Patterson, or did you ever migrate to something else?
I stayed on Patterson for 3 years, I believe, and then 86, I think Vance decided to discontinue Patterson racing. So I had good contacts with 09, and again Michael Mullman. He stepped in, and I landed a sponsorship on with 09.
That's bad. So, and that's when 09 had their own frames, right?
Yes, exactly. Made by Cyclocraft.
Yeah, dude, that's right. See, I love learning stuff, bro. I love it. I love learning trivia. I love learning all these things. I interviewed Vance Patterson, and I was real nervous, and I asked him. I said, I go, does it bother you that other riders used to buy your frame and put their stickers on it? And he said, absolutely not, man.
Hell no, it didn't. Of course not.
I didn't know. I swear to God, I thought, well, it might have made him mad. Like, buy a Patterson. Don't buy this other one,
Well, I can admit it now. It's almost 40 years ago when I was sponsored by 09. Yes, I did ride the Pro XL 20-inch frame, but for some reason the Cruiser didn't suit me right. So I rode the Patterson PR240 Cruiser and put 09 decals on. There you have it. There you have it.
I like that. I never even considered riding the Patterson. I was a JMC guy.
Oh,
but,
awesome!
I never considered riding a Patterson. But I've since doing the podcast and talking to people, I've since learned that it was a common occurrence for.
It was more common than you could imagine.
And then later on the Amtrak or the limo. I'm sorry, the free agent limo.
Free agent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Crazy stuff, man. So you were a cruiser rider too, not just 20s.
Yes, I would always, ever since they started racing cruisers in this country, I raced them. And for some reason, I got to be more of a cruiser specialist than 20-inch, although I never practiced on the cruiser. But I guess it just came natural. I just felt more at home on a cruiser for some reason. And it also, it just came natural. I don't know how to say it. I became more of a dominant cruiser rider than a 20-inch.
Wow, dude. Okay. All right. That's who. There was someone else that happened to. Who comes to memory that was more known for a 24 than a 20? I'm trying to think of who it was, but you're 6'3", I'm 6'2", and I could never ride a cruiser. We'd be out at the jumps, jumping stuff, and my friends would be on Flowable Flyers, and I'd be on my PK Ripper, and I'd try to jump on that Flowable Flyer, and it was just too much. I didn't take to it like you did, man. So okay. I can respect. I always told my friends, okay, we used to do the exact same jumps. We used to jump picnic tables, and if you could jump a picnic table on a cruiser versus a 20-inch, I gave more respect to a guy that could jump the cruiser.
You mean bunny hop a picnic table?
No, jump it. I know there's guys Are you talking about bunny hopping the whole table or just on top of the table?
On top of it.
Okay, yeah. I could do. Yeah. I never did it, but I probably could. But okay. No, we were jumping over the picnic tables.
Oh wow!
And my friends were doing it on cruisers, and I was always like, man, I can't. There's no way that I want to jump that on a cruiser.
You know what? I guess it's just a thing of getting used to it. Really, if you get used to it, I think it's not a big deal. And I think the secret to this is I had my cruiser set up exactly the way I had set up my 20-inch, meaning the height of the bars was exactly the same. The bar back sweep was exactly the same. The width was the same. The seat height was similar. I was running the same 180 millimeter profile cranks, same gearing. When you translate the gearing, same gearing. So the transition would be much easier going from a 20-inch to a 24-inch.
Were you bunny hopping the cruiser on the table or a 20-inch?
I could do both, but I was having a hard time bunny hopping the cruiser, but I could do it. Yes.
I talked when I interviewed Ronnie Anderson too.
Oh,
and we were bragging about our bunny hopping skills, right?
Yes.
And I was kind of telling him we used to bunny hop tennis court nets. Now they weren't straight, right? Let's say. It always sagged in the middle.
They sag a little bit, like an inch and a half.
Yeah, right in the middle. So I could bunny hop a tennis court net, and then Ronnie goes, we used to bunny hop picnic tables. I was like, oh man, okay, you got me.
Yeah, Ronnie was one of the greatest bunny hoppers of all time. I can assure you that.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah, it was crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
So you're on the cruiser and stuff like that. You're dominating, and you become more of a cruiser rider. What are the big? Are any of those titles that you mentioned, were they cruiser titles, or were they all 20-inch?
Yes, the number 2 world was on a 24-inch.
I give you props, man. Did you ever come back and try to race a cruiser modern day?
No, I did not. But eventually, back in 1993, after my active BMX career was already over, I came back and I got a cruiser title again. 1993.
On what bike?
Patterson.
The same
Patterson cruiser.
You just dusted off the bike and brought it right back out again.
Yes, I did. You know what? I still have it to this very day.
That is gangster, dude. I love that, dude. That's so bitchy, man. Yeah. On comp threes, probably, right? On comp threes?
Gnarler knobbies. I always like the gnarler knobbies better.
A couple, maybe 15 years ago, I tried to come back and I got a cruiser, a felt cruiser actually, and I showed up at the track at Grand Prix, and I was racing old retired pros. And I was like, wow. I can't race. I was a fast 17 expert, but I never went pro. And I was just like, there's no way I can't compete with these guys. No way.
Before we were going to talk about some of the Americans who came over or who were in Germany already, I got some names in my head that I'd like to give a shout out to. One of my toughest competition back then in Germany was Chris Brown. At the time he was out of Nuremberg or Erlangen, I believe, and a couple of years later he went back to California again, and he did race some pro and later on vet pro in California. He used to be in Simi Valley, by the way.
Okay, I raced Simi Valley a couple times.
You did?
Yeah, okay. Not in the 80s. This is in like the late 90s. But yeah, I raced Simi Valley.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice, dude.
Yeah. We also had some other great riders like Ron Sampson, who would race. Who would be a little older than myself. He would race a different age group, but he started racing in '72 in Northern California, and then came to Germany, continued racing there. He did well, but I think he quit in '85 or '86. And we had some riders from the Las Vegas area, younger riders. One of them was Eddie Dutchover. He was a great guy, won a lot of races, had a Powerlight co-sponsorship at that time. Yeah, those are the names that are coming back to me right now. There's a lot more, but I can't recall all of their names.
You mentioned Powerlight. Do you ever? I always think about underrated companies. I never thought that Powerlight got their due. I mean, I always thought that Powerlight was didn't get the respect that they deserved. Do you have an opinion on Powerlight? Do you have any?
Yes, I do. I do have an opinion on Powerlight because my dad, he would be the distributor for Steve Rink's Powerlight, Mark Rink, Steve Rink. I keep yeah.
Steve.
Anyway, he'd be the distributor for a while back in that was 84, 5, 6, 7 Powerlight before they got taken over by GT. And we even set up a Rainer's Bike Shop Powerlight team. And eventually we had 2 or 3 riders who did really well on the national and on the European scene on Powerlight. So I have a strong connection to Powerlight.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I never thought. Now, I'm not saying that they weren't big. I'm saying they should have been bigger. They should have got more respect.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's who I'm. So Tim Littlethorpe, who was on Powerlight, I always thought that Tim was only a cruiser rider, right? He was always on cruiser. And until I talked to him, he's like, "Well, no, I was on 22." But I remember Tim as a predominantly cruiser rider, not even a 20.
Right. Well, I remember 81 or 82. Tommy Brackens was on Powerlight. He was very dominant at that time. I think was that before his pro career started. I'm not sure. Maybe not. But he was very dominant on a Powerlight.
Yeah, dude. What do you think about the new Powerlights, the Gen 2 Powerlights? Are you into those or no?
Difficult.
Really?
That's
Okay.
Good.
All right, that's cool.
I really don't know too much about them. I'm more of an 80s, maybe 90s guy. Anything after that kind of like is diluted in my brain, and don't ask me a lot of questions, but 80s and 90s, I'm with you.
Yeah, me too, bro.
Yeah.
I stopped racing in 86 when I went in the Marine Corps, even though I've followed the sport since then, but that's when my peak ended in 86. But so you turned pro, right? You weren't pro.
Yes, I did. I turned pro in 1986.
In Germany and the United States.
In Germany and in the US, we had to race a super class, it was called. Today it's called elite. Same thing, elite.
We were talking about pro cruisers last night. I believe we were on the last podcast. And dude, I saw a couple pro cruiser races from like the mid 80s, and I was like, I to be honest with you, I never really paid attention to cruiser, dude, to be honest with you. But recently I watched some of these pro cruisers, and these guys were flying, dude. Like,
I'm telling you. Yeah.
It's insane. I was like, oh, I didn't think a cruiser could go that fast, dude. I was like, this is crazy.
I have the impression that at the peak of pro cruiser in the 80s, I believe that the 24-inch pro cruisers were faster than the 20-inch bikes.
It's possible, dude. I wouldn't argue with you, dude.
I had the impression that was so.
And the competition, it was just as stiff, if not stiffer.
Yeah, it was as stiff as 20-inch, but for some reason, less riders.
Less riders, okay. All right, that makes sense. Never did. That's crazy. Did you ever have did you ever wad it up real bad? Did you have bad crashes? Or were you you get through the whole thing clean? Now, I got through my whole racing carear clean.
No
real crashes, dude. What about you?
Congratulations. Well, I got one broken collarbone, but there's a story to this. I raced the 1983 Murray. what was it called in Nashville, Tennessee, the Murray World Cup in Tennessee. I did okay. I didn't win, but I got through the race all right. And I think Sunday night after the race was over, we took our bikes to the street, did some runs, played around, and for some reason I didn't have my pads on the bike, so the brake cable was dangling around. Got into my pedal, I cranked hard, boom, and I did a home run on my left shoulder on the asphalt. So that kind of shredded my left collarbone, and it hurt really bad. It was broken, but still in one piece. The next day we go to this amusement park, do something, and it would separate, and then it started hurting really bad.
And what year was this? I'm sorry.
83, June 83.
So it did it? Do you think that it affected you going forward, or did you bounce back?
A week later, we had the World Championship qualifiers in Cologne, Germany, and I got first or second with a broken collarbone. I was wearing this friggin' what you call it, this band. It would pull your shoulders back. It hurt like crazy, but I could still ride, and it worked out okay.
Dude, that reminds me of the story that Tim told me, that he broke his collarbone, and so the doctor told him he couldn't race his 20, so he went to the local bike shop. They gave him a champion cruiser, and he went out and he won a national.
There you have it.
I thought that was cool.
Go. That's the way it's done. Yeah. Awesome.
So did you have a long, like a petering out type of thing, or did you stop, like dead stop, or like one day did you wake up and go, I'm done, or did you kind of fade off into the night,
into the twilight zone? No, I did not. BMX was always there. Yes, I did stop racing in 1995, I believe. I would still race cruiser at that time, and then work started getting more and more and taking more time, so I had to go one way or another. And but BMX has always been present for myself, with our shop, my dad running the shop, doing the old school stuff. Eventually he got into selling all this freestyle stuff. I never really lost contact with BMX. It's always been there. And since we're doing all this old school stuff, I think it's come back. It's come back in a big way.
You mentioned freestyle, dude. Were you a freestyler too?
I did a little bit when it first started. I think in 1983, Bob Harrow came over for a demo run, and he actually used the ramps I had built back then. To BMX action specs, by the way. We rode a little on Saturday, and Sunday was going to be the big day, but it got rained out. Too bad.
Are you talking about the BMX plans, the plans that were in BMX action in
the plywood ramps? Remember?
I built the same ramp, dude. I had it in my driveway for years.
Yeah, me too. It kind of rotted away over time because the wood got rotted so bad. But I think it lasted a solid, I'd say 10, 12 years it lasted.
Dude, we had that ramp in my driveway, and we had probably on a daily basis 15, 20 kids at my house.
Oh yeah.
It was nuts, dude. But none of us ever went off the top, dude. We would drop in, or we would do, we do 180s and that type of thing.
Okay.
But no one ever went off the top, dude. No way.
No aerial, no airs, no big airs.
Air, dude. No air.
Okay. Yeah.
Obviously, you got off the top.
I could get like a foot or two of air, and that was it.
It was too sketchy, dude.
You had to lean up
against the wall or something.
It was very sketchy. If you remember the ramp itself, it was maybe 6'4" or something, or 6'2". It had a small platform at the top and a very steep, aggressive angle. It would like kick you, kick you real hard.
it had like 6 inches of vert on top.
Exactly.
Crazy, man.
There you go.
And you know the plans where it had that, it was like an arm that came out the back that would like.
Yeah, mine had that too.
We didn't even bother making that part. We just leaned it up against the wall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we had to use the arm because there was nothing we could lean it against.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It was a standalone quarter pipe, and then we had the small ramp too.
Okay. Yeah, like a kick ramp or something.
Yeah, the kick turn ramp.
Yeah, dude. Like we were like the extent of my freestyle. Okay, so I told a story before where we used to go to Pipeline. You've heard of Pipeline?
Upland, yes.
Upland. They're very good. Pipeline. So there was a track in Pipeline where I used to race, and we used to hit Pipeline before and after the races on the weekends, and we do 180s and that type of thing. Nothing major. But my whole freestyle thing was like a rock walk. Tire tap 360s, 180 fake
endos and stuff, wheelies,
curb endo, no footed curb endos, and you always had to bring the back tire up and kiss your ass. If you couldn't kiss your ass, you didn't know how to do it right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And the rock
same
walk,
here. We did that for a while too, and then it kind of got like you had to do either one thing or the other. So I concentrated on racing, but a little freestyling, jumping around on the side, it would hone your skills required for racing. So it really it helped racing for sure. It helped on the track,
Yeah. And plus, we used to do it. That was our party trick. We used to go to parties, high school parties, and ride outside in the street in front of the house and do curb endos and all this stuff. Dude, it was
nice.
One-handed curb, all that stuff, dude. So it was our party trick. We were
awesome.
Younger,
awesome. I remember this one time they gave us a little piece of land, and I built our own BMX track there. And over time, it got really difficult, and it got to be an excellent practice track. If you had that track wired, you were fit to race anywhere in the world. And there was a street right next to it with a very slight downhill slope, very like a degree or two. And back then, I think, was it 82 or 83? I can't remember. BMX Action featured Mike Buff bunny hopping, I think, 18, 19, or 20 people lying flat on the ground.
Dude, we did the same thing, man.
And I'm like, shit, I gotta one up that. So I started with 21 people, then 22, and I think I cleared 22, and I ran out of people. So I did clear 22.
I ran out of people. That's getting clipped out, dude.
Yeah. But I had to go full speed, full bozo, full tilt, with those gnarled knobbies buzzing on the street, and then take all the power, bam, and then pull the bike up in the air, and then bam, and then clear the people. That was awesome.
Dude, you're taking me back, dude. I've totally forgot about bunny hopping people, dude. That is awesome, dude. Yes, I did that, dude.
Yeah.
You know what we did? You ever see those car ramps where you pull your car up on those ramps to fix it, to get underneath the engine?
Of course. Yes.
So what we used to do is we used to jump ramp to ramp on the sidewalk. Wow. And we used to measure there's squares in the sidewalk to cement. And we used to go 1 square, 2 squares, 3 squares. And we'd get out to like 7 squares, which is like 30 feet or something crazy.
Wow.
And we never thought, like, you know what, we don't have to land on this thing. As long as we go 30 feet, we're fine. But It was so sketchy where we would be in the air, like you had to reconstitute yourself to make sure that you landed on a ramp that was this wide. But anyway, that was our training.
That's sketchy, man.
And then they would move, and it was. Wow. Yeah, but that's how I learned how to jump, man. Like ramp to ramp.
Wow, awesome! That's a great story. I'm one other story is coming back to my mind now. I think speaking of those ramps, we had built those plywood ramps. I think that small ramp that did get some travel time, and I think we took it to a demo someplace nearby, about an hour and a half away. And there's these guys who were interested in getting started in BMX, and we wanted to like show them what it's all about. So we set up the small ramp, and we put like one or two cars behind the ramp that we could easily clear. So I'm shooting up this small ramp, and I'm clearing those two cars by a mile, landing on on flat ground on asphalt. Oh my God! And I was like, oh my God, I'm just hoping those MKS pedals are gonna hold up. And I was using Flight Crank 400s at the time, and they were sketchy as hell. You know, there were actually Sugino cranks with tubular chromoly arms, but they didn't last too long. Anyway, landing on that flat, that was like, the hardest thing ever, you know. And it was hard on bikes, and it was hard on your body too.
But that's what jumping was, dude. I didn't. If anybody went ramp to ramp like a double jump, or like jumping Jim Pratt, jumping cars ramp to ramp, dude, that doesn't count, dude. Like you got to go to flat, man.
Yeah, we went to flat on flat asphalt at full speed.
Like when Stu jumped the Porsches, he went to flat.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's jumping, dude.
Yeah, think about that. Oh my God.
Ramp to ramp is cheating.
Yeah.
Like when Tracer jumped the piano, he went to flat. He didn't go to the ramp.
He went to flat ground.
Yeah.
On a sidewalk.
And almost crashed, I think.
Unbelievable.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever make it in any magazines?
Not the ones in the US, but I did make the European and German magazines. Yeah. Remember BMX Plus? Well, BMX Plus was getting a little more international at that time, but BMX Action was almost exclusively Southern California. Not even Northern California got a lot of what you call it. They didn't get feet. They didn't get a lot of coverage, you know. But no, that didn't happen.
Do you still have the pictures?
I still have all of them. Yeah.
Could you
remember my dad? Remember my dad started a BMX museum with everything, you know.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's still in existence today.
Could you send me the pictures for I want to do a real advertising your appearance. Could you do that?
Come again, please.
Could you send me the pictures so I could do an advertising reel, a sizzle reel for your appearance? Is that cool?
Sure. Absolutely.
Listen, man. So you've been in the game a long time, bro, and so have I. You've seen bikes come, you've seen bikes go. What do you have a pick of the best bike, best geometry? Do you have an opinion on product over the years? Best, worst? What's your take, bro?
Tough question. Well, I'm an 80s guy, some 90s, but mainly 80s. And I'd have to go with Patterson, because that frame and fork at the time was revolutionary when they came out with that low profile frame. I think 78 or 79. That was something else. That was something that everybody else didn't catch on until 82, 83. So they were ahead of their time by at least 4 years, I'd say. Other than that, I think RevCore was a good, solid frame. So was Chris Muller's S&M. That was awesome too. A little on the heavy side, but that never bothered me because they would hold up so well. So I a half a pound more or less really didn't matter. That would be my take right there. That'd be my take.
Can I ask you a Patterson question, bro?
Please.
What? And I'm not a Patterson historian by any chance, but what is the difference between the Century and the P20? What years did they come out? Was there an overlap? Was there a big design change between the two frames? Were they similar, is the Century the one that people knocked off and put the stickers on, or was it the P20?
PR20.
PR20.
PR200 actually.
Okay.
I think I'm not 100% sure. But the Century was made by Champion, if I'm correct, and back when hold on, Century, yeah, okay. I think that was before Vance Patterson decided to call the frames by his own name, Patterson Racing. And I think they came up with the name because one of the fire extinguishers companies, or the name of the extinguisher model, was called Sentry. So they named the frame after that.
That's more trivia, dude. That's more trivia. I love it, man. Yeah. So obviously, if Champion made the Century, then I would assume that the geometry is vastly different on the PR200.
Or was it? Hold on. Was it Trackmaster or Champion? I'm not so sure right now. I think it was Champion, then Trackmaster. Trackmaster was a motocross and speedway frame builder, and Trackmaster, and then after that, I think Boss made the PR200s, the Patterson frames. Those are made by Carlo De Lucia at Boss.
I should have asked Vance, and when I interviewed Vance, I was shaking. Right, I was so nervous.
Okay.
And I should have asked him this question. I was so I wasn't thinking straight. But Vance told me that Brent designed the bike that everybody copied, but I didn't get if it was the Century or the PR200. Was he talking about the? I mean, I know you didn't.
I think we're missing one that's in between. It was called the Patterson Long. That's the one you're talking about right now, and I think Kenny Roberts and Brent Patterson that designed that frame. Kenny Roberts of motorcycle fame, AMA.
Okay.
Yeah, and they designed that frame together.
That's badass, dude. But the PR200 was one that we copied. That's true, right?
Yeah, the PR200 came out, I think, late '82 or early '83, if I'm correct.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Bitchin' frame, dude.
Indestructible.
Really? Okay. All right.
Indestructible.
Now, I've been asked this question before by my co-host, and I picked the Andy Patterson frame and fork, right?
JMC? Wow, nice.
Now, I had two of them. I rode pretty hard, right? And I never cracked a JMC in my life. I had two Daryl Youngs and two Andy Pattersons. Never cracked one of them. Now, nice. People would say, "Oh, you're not riding hard enough," but I always said that if you break a frame, that just shows me that you don't know how to land.
Thank you. I agree.
You agree?
I agree, and I think if you crack a frame, to me it shows you don't ride properly. You don't know how to land properly. Like
I agree, dude.
Say if you jump a triple and you land right on the third hill, of course something's gonna break, but that's not proper riding.
Yeah, it's almost like guys brag about breaking their frames. I was like, dude, that just means that you don't know how to ride or jump or land or whatever.
I agree.
Bike handling, dude. It's finesse. Once you get in the air, it's all finesse, man.
It is.
So anyways, I've been asked this question about what bike I like. Now I chose, if I couldn't get a JMC Andy Patterson or a JMC Daryl Young, because I think those are the only two JMCs I would ever consider racing. I think that the smaller JMCs, the earlier JMCs, I'm really not into them. Don't shoot me out there. People are gonna kill me, but they never really turned me on. But if I could choose,
like the Black Shadow, for instance, that was more of an expert size frame.
Yeah, too small.
The DY and the AP frame and fork sets, those were pro size frames.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff. Even when I was 10 or 11 or 12, I still wouldn't ride a JMC because they just didn't appeal to me, right? They were just like, they didn't look that great until the Daryl Young. But my point was, I would choose a GHP or a Patterson if I couldn't get a JMC Andy Patterson. So that's what that's what my answer is. And I ask people that when I talk to them what they think is the best or their favorite or whatever.
Interesting. Yeah, I gotcha.
So you ever race a Motomag Mongoose? You ever get on them like that?
Well, there's a little story to this too. Remember, in Germany in the 80s, we still had the U.S. Army over here.
The Blue Max.
Yeah, and we had our hometown was we had station military there, and all these kids, they got into BMX. And earlier on, I told you about this BMX track I built. Yeah. Well, guess what? They all came out in droves to ride to ride my track, and we got friends, and we started riding together. And they all came in riding these Blue Max bikes. Ever heard of Blue Max?
Yeah, Brian Gass wrote for Blue Max.
Yeah, Blue Max was a spin-off of Skip Hess's Mongoose. Only available through the government PXs worldwide. Same spec as a Mongoose Motomac, except the gusset was different. It would sport a iron cross and would say Blue Max on them. But the same frame and fork set, same components. Most of them were coaster brakes. Motomax, heavy as crap, heavy as a tank. And back then in the PX, they would cost $99 out the door.
with Motomags.
With Motomax. So everybody and their brother came out riding these Blue Max Motomax bikes. Motomax.
I have a question about were the Blue Maxes, were they spec'd with Tongay forks or were they spec'd with Astrobula forks?
No, neither one. They would have proprietary Mongoose, say Blue Max forks.
Tubular or blade?
Tubular. No acetabula, tubular.
And the stems, what kind of stems would they have?
You know what? Chances are they were Tangy forks with those pinched fork ends, but they would say Blue Max. But they might as well have been Tangy. I'm not sure. Now that you mention it. Yeah, but they were chromoly, and those frames were tri-moly.
Yeah, tri-moly. No, tri-moly is just the front triangle is chromoly, right?
The rear is high 10.
Yeah. That was my first bike was the Jag.
Okay, same thing. Same thing.
Yeah. And my brother got the Mongoose, and I got the Jag, and I should have got the Mongoose, but at the local park, at the local jumping spot, the Mongoose got a lot more respect than the Jag did, even though it was the same damn bike.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Hey, did you ride Z-rims? You ever been on Z-rims?
Oh yeah. We sold a bunch of them. For some time there was a real run on these rims, because the word had been around they were indestructible and you could taco bend them and then they'd flex back in shape, which never happened. They got all out of shape. They were a pain in the butt to lace up. It was difficult. I never really cared for them too much. All these collectors who never rode them, they praise these Z-rims, but I personally think they sucked. I never really liked them at all. They sucked.
Dude, I'm the only guy on the whole podcast that ever championed Z-rims, dude. I mean, I was jumping crazy shit on my Z-rims, dude.
Oh, yeah?
And I loved them, and I don't remember them ever having any problem with,
Really?
Yeah, but I never laced them, dude. I just bought them complete with, sunshine hubs.
Okay.
Laced from the swap meet for, $50.
Right.
Yeah, I love my Z-rims, dude. But,
okay.
I thought that was funny.
For racing, they were a little too flexible, And another point is that that we should mention, they were wide. They were 2.125 inches wide, which for a lot of frames was too wide to get into the chainstays.
I didn't
That
know
was a
that
problem.
either.
Yeah, that was a problem. They did work on some frames, but on some frames they did not.
So the Moto Mag was narrower than the Z Rim.
Oh yeah, way narrower. Yeah, way.
Was it wider because of the tire beads would break? Is that why they made them wider? Because didn't Tough Wheels have the problem where if you put too much air in them, the tires would break the bead and they'd pop off the sides?
I never heard of that, but for some reason, Tough Wheels were never a full 20 inches in diameter. They would lack by about 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, and if you didn't seat the tires properly, they would pop out. It's happened to me a number of times.
Yeah.
You had to properly seat the tires onto the Tough Wheel and then put some air in them and then seat them again. That little line that runs across the entire perimeter of the tire. So you had to have a sharp eye and look at that line and see if it would line up to the rim, and then put your 45, 40 psi in the tire.
Yeah. Hey, was Redline big over there?
Oh yeah, way big. I'd say Redline was one of the premier brands that we sold over here because we had a good distributor at the time, and Redline was coming on strong in 1981. They had a good team, good product, and they had excellent marketing. So, Redline was a premier brand over here.
81 would have been the MX2 or the Pro line?
I think, whenever they started coming on the landscape, you could buy the MX2, then was there an MX3? I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Then they came the Pro line, then the PL20, PL20 Carrera, then the 800P, etc., etc. Then they started doing the complete Taiwanese bikes, 600A, 600C, and so on, 700C. But I think they started with the MX2, which was very comparable to that Diamondback 2 I had mentioned earlier. Very similar.
Geometry-wise, too.
The geometry was very similar, kind of short, on the short side, targeted towards, say, a 10, 11, 12-year-old male.
With that stupid C-tube way back.
Unbelievable. Yeah, almost like a laid back. When you were using a straight seat post, it felt like a laid back.
Rainer, dude, every time I talk to somebody about this, I don't know if you've seen any of my shorts, but every time I've talked about this, I go, dude, it was horrible. It was horrible. Anybody that knew anything about BMX riding knew that C-tube angle sucked. And I was like, who the hell's the one that came up with this C-tube angle? Like, I've always wondered, like, it's terrible. It's ugly.
Yeah. And it's impractical, too.
Yeah.
The only bike that comes to my mind that's even that has a steeper angle was the CW. That was even worse.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
it looked kind of like this.
Yeah. And then you just put the CW layback on there, and it's like your seat's over the back tire.
Yeah, if you ever put a CW layback on that frame, you would sit behind the rear axle. Yeah.
We just did it. We just did a video on this last night where it's like if you saw anybody on the street with a layback seat post with a CW, you knew that they couldn't ride. Like you automatically knew this dude sucks. He can't ride.
Yeah, or those are the same guys who would like lean their bars forward, ghetto style. You instantly knew what they were up to. They were not riders.
Yeah. Well, what about V bars? Did you like the V bars?
Well, Redline, thinking of Redline, I'm thinking of V-bars or Kuwahara too. But V-bars were a thing for a year or two, and then they kind of discontinued that too,
Dude, they're like, here's my impression of V-bars.
Go ahead. Yeah, well, yeah.
They were so small, dude, like,
Yeah, all of them. For some reason, they were very little, very small handlebars. Low and short.
The Kuwaharas were a little bit bigger, I think.
A little, just a tad, not much.
Yeah, dude. Like,
But speaking of wobbly handlebars, what do you think of Galindo bars?
I have no problem with Galindo bars, man.
No? Okay.
I understand that they're Vicente's favorite bar. I think I had did Galindo make pedals or chain rings? I can't remember. Did Galindo make chain rings? I think I had a Galindo chain ring.
I think Addicts made chain rings.
Oh, that was Addicts. You're right.
Addicts.
Yeah.
But yeah, Galindo, I'm thinking bars and bar ends.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. I may have had a pair of Galindos. I can't remember. But you know how it's back in the day. You're training your friends and you could go out for the day, go ride, and come back with your bike changed 50%. Like
that's true. Yeah, absolutely. It was easy.
Yeah,
simple.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
Awesome,
dude. It's been dude. So, do you have kids? You have boys?
Yes, I have a stepdaughter. She's 30. She's got a kid. So I'm a grandfather, and I've got a 17-year-old too.
Did they get the BMX bug?
Well, the younger one, she started riding a little bit when she turned 10, I believe. She tried it, but for some reason she didn't stick with it, so she gave it up. But it's all good. You can't force them, right?
Yeah. When is the last time you got? When is the last time you were on a bike?
Last week.
Nice, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Pump track or the real track?
No, I just rode around on the street.
Now, when I listened to your episode with Samson, are you the gentleman that was talking about going to Dirty Fest at Frogtown, or was it the other guy?
Both of them. I will be there in September.
Okay, we'll see. I'll see you there in September then.
Awesome.
But you're not gonna be You're not gonna be riding though.
I'm not gonna be riding. I'm not bringing a bike. Plus, I haven't practiced in a while, so. But yeah, maybe. Who knows? It's nothing. It's nothing that It's possible. Who knows?
The worst thing you could do is go and hurt yourself and end up in a U.S. hospital, dude. You don't want that.
Well, yeah, that would be the worst thing that could happen. But yeah, we'll see. Not sure. We'll see.
You bring out the Patterson 240, man. Oh, damn.
Yeah, well, I still have that too. I actually have two of them. I have one set up for like practice, and one I had set up for racing. Same as the 20 inches.
Oh, dude, man.
I always had a backup bike.
I never had a backup.
That's okay.
I was one bike and that's it, man. I'm crazy. Hey, normally when we have guests on, we do BMX trivia and that type of thing. Mm-hmm. And since my co-host isn't there today, I couldn't do trivia with you. Would you be open to coming back and doing trivia with me?
Oh, absolutely.
Dude, that would be incredible. We could have an international trivia contest, BMX. Sure. That'd be great, bro. Awesome. I know that you're only a co-host on that podcast, sometime co-host, but if somebody wanted to find that podcast, or if someone wanted to learn about that podcast, could you give a brief description of what they do on the podcast and how someone can find the podcast?
Well, Patrick, the host, he started doing these podcasts, I think, two years ago, and it was going well. It's a niche product. It only appeals to a certain audience, as you know, but nevertheless, he started doing this, and I suggested, Patrick, why not do an episode in English so you could appeal to a way broader audience? and I think it's working out okay so far. So I think we might be coming up with another one, on a different subject. Who knows what? But I think it just appeals to a broader audience, and I think a lot of people would be interested in just hearing these old BMX stories. Don't you agree?
Yes, dude. And Ray, I don't want you to take this personally, dude. I had no idea that you guys in Germany even rode BMX bikes. So I give you mad respect because you seem to know even more than I do, and you seem to be more into it or just as much into it as I am. So it's great that old school BMX transcends waters, and we all have the same fire inside us and the same outlook on things. So I think it's great, bro. And I wouldn't have found out about that podcast without the one in English, dude. So I think it's fabulous that they did the one in English, and I would listen to more of them. I didn't realize that was the only one that was in English. But if you're gonna do more,
we got more coming. We got more coming down the pipeline.
Nice, dude. So where can people find the podcast?
Well, I think they're on Spotify, a Riders Ready podcast, and they're also on what did I say? Apple podcast.
Okay.
Apple. Right. Riders Ready BMX Old School Podcast.
Dude, Rainer, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, man. Thank you very much. I'm glad to have met you, and I'm so thankful that you came on the podcast to talk to me. This is great, man. And you're going to I'm going to cut this episode up 100 different ways. If you didn't have your face out there now, it's sure going to be out there now, but I appreciate it. And if you could send me pictures of anything that you have, I would love to do a promotional video for this when it drops.
Will do.
It's been a pleasure, bro. Thank you so much.
The pleasure was all mine. Thanks for having me. And I'll see you at Frogtown.
Absolutely, man. It's going to be great. Appreciate it,
buddy. Got it. Thank you,
man. Have a great night.
Awesome. Take care.
And then now you can go to sleep now, dude.
Oh, yeah. It's 12:30, so I'm ready for bed.
Thanks a lot, Rainer. Have a good night, bro.
All right. Peace out.
Man.
Thank you.
Later.
Bye-bye.